tonight. Man dies in house fire. Police search for 65-year-old husband of dead woman. And brace for heavy rains, says Met Office. Very good evening. A family tonight is mourning the death of a man following a house fire last night. The incident happened around midnight in Bow Road in Osori. By the time firefighters arrived at the scene, there was very little they could do to save the man's life or his property. I'll start with the details.
The fire occurred at around midnight last night. Following a call made to the National Fire Authority yesterday, authorities arrived at the scene only to realize they were too late.
Team from Osori responded and put out the fire last night.
It was only after they had put out the fire that they discovered a man trapped inside. The cause of fire is yet to be determined as investigations are well underway.
Our team is at the field conducting investigations. I think also conducting investigations with the systems of police. Because after we had put out the fire, we had found out that there was a body in the house.
9 people have lost their lives so far, compared to 12 lives lost for the same period last year.
Yeah, we just pleading with members of the community to be careful in terms to take extra care while we are enjoying ourselves in the festive season, especially before going to sleep at night for us to conduct thorough checks and checks of our point and other things that we are using fire ignition sources and make sure they are all put out.
The authority has also recorded 110 structural fires compared to 95 for the same period last year. Fiji One News.
Police are asking members of the public to come forward if they have any information that could help locate 65-year-old Eliki Suka of Mindre settlement in Singatoka. Suka is wanted for questioning in relation to an arson case in Singatoka.
Unfortunately, one succumbed to her injuries yesterday morning, and an 8-year-old is now recovering in stable condition.
Suka is alleged to have information on what led to a fire at Natavora which claimed the life of his 40-year-old wife, leaving his 8-year-old daughter admitted in hospital.
But that can only be ascertained once we bring in the suspect for questioning. So anyone with any information is requested to call 917 or the nearest community post to help us with investigations.
And in light of those incidents, the Fiji Police Force is calling on people to solve problems rationally. Those considering taking drastic action should think again.
We have recorded a few assault cases over the last 24 hours across the division. And it is worrying. It is something that we usually anticipate during around this time. Maybe it's got something to do with the, let's say the social responsibilities that may be placed upon us, and the burdens and so forth, financial burdens and so forth. There are a lot of expectations on us during this time.
Naisoro says reports on crimes over the festive season can be disheartening.
Unfortunately, there are some people who are going through some trouble and have unfortunately been at the resorting end of violence.
Although many parts of the country enjoyed the sunshine today, the Nandi Weather Office has now issued a heavy rain and flash flood warning. This is the result of a tropical disturbance that lies slow-moving to the far northwest of Fiji. Members of the public are being advised to exercise caution during the expected adverse weather conditions.
The Weather Office says the tropical disturbance TD06F has not developed much and is currently slow-moving towards Fiji. But in the next 24 to 48 hours, the group will be affected by heavy rain that may lead to flash flooding. The full brunt of the disturbance is expected to be felt on Saturday.
And it's slowly moving southeast and coming down this way. And we're expecting it to be coming down over our area to the north of Honolulu on Saturday night.
While it has a low probability of developing into a tropical cyclone, the associated trough will bring rain, heavy at times and squally thunderstorms and strong gusts, and the public is advised to take necessary precautions.
But however, these are cloud band coming down and the rain bed will come over the northern parts of the county and will produce some rain and some squally gusty winds and thunderstorms at the same time. That's why we are going for still maintaining the heavy rain alert for the northern parts of the county, Noliabutavuni and the small islands, and also the northern Lao groups.
While the disturbance may not pose a direct threat to Fiji, Tunraki says they will closely monitor the situation as anything may happen.
It will not pose any threat directly to Fiji as it's going to pass to the north. So that's the good news for Fiji. As it passes to the north and there's a project and go right up to the Tongan area, Tongan group by Sunday.
Mariners are also being advised to take precaution. Myron Williams, Fiji One News.
And members of the Republic of the Fiji Military Forces 3FIR are now on standby and are prepared for any adverse weather that may come our way. RFMF's Chief Operations Officer Lieutenant Colonel Amani Suliano told Fiji One News this afternoon that as of midday today, all officers who were recalled from leave to be on standby are now ready.
The 3FIR battalion were recalled this morning just to prepare for the approaching tropical cyclone. At 12 o'clock today, the camps in Indi, Lautoka and Suva are on 50% readiness.
A military, medical and transport team are also ready, and Lieutenant Colonel Suliano says they will work closely with the National Disaster Management Office if the tropical disturbance worsens.
Our medical team is on standby with a 50% readiness, and our transport company is also on standby with a 50% readiness. Our tasking will come from the DSMAC center, so we're all waiting for Director DSMAC. He will be giving our task if the need arises.
Following yesterday's stabbing incident at Natumo in Kandavu, the suspect, according to police, is still in custody. Police have also received reports that the fatal stabbing incident resulted from an argument that developed during a drinking party.
Some sort of fight and resulting in the the suspect allegedly stabbing the deceased. At this stage, we're still ongoing with investigations and will also await the post-mortem results.
Members are asked to act responsibly when consuming alcohol.
Wherever alcohol is involved, things can get out of hand. So we are urging members of the public to enjoy responsibly, drink responsibly and take care of themselves, especially when it comes to the consumption of alcohol.
Following what can be termed a quiet Christmas, the Fiji Police Force is grateful to members of the public for their support. The challenge now is to maintain operations until the new year. Abisalome Rambo with the details.
Since the onset of this festive season leading up to Christmas Eve, police have been out in numbers patrolling the streets. They now anticipate an increase in the number of traffic and movement of people.
Unfortunately, over the last 24 hours, 8 people had to spend their Christmas in a cell awaiting the outcome of the court case because there is a no-drop policy, a zero-tolerance policy on all drink-driving cases.
Naisoro reassured the public that if anyone is caught during the next 24 hours breaching road regulations, they will spend time in a jail cell.
We had made that request earlier on, and we're also grateful to the people for their, for their support. We noticed on our Christmas Eve operations that a change in road behavior, even traveling up and down the Suva Nosori corridor, we noticed that people were driving more carefully. People were adhering to the road with pedestrians, were very careful.
She says members of the public must be awarded for their efforts.
We anticipate a lot of movement with the 2 parties that are anticipated in the capital city, and we will be beefing up likewise.
This festive season, operations should formally end come January 15, 2014, unless there is a need to extend them. Abisalome Rambo, Fiji One News.
The usage of mobile phones whilst driving has become quite a problem for authorities. This comes after close to 350 bookings were made in the Central Division in the last few days. Ravai Fafa'o with the details.
If you are in the habit of using your mobile phone while driving, then you must stop. The Land Transport Authority says drivers using their mobile phones while driving is now a huge problem for them.
And this is an issue that we've been trying to emphasize to the general public, especially the motorists, the drivers, to be very, very careful. If they are driving, they should not be using a two-way communication or on mobile.
Over the last few days, there have been close to 350 bookings along the Suva-Nosori corridor alone. Driving while using a mobile phone is an offense, yet people still do not take heed of police advice.
And there are fines, there are fixed penalty of $100 to $500 that these drivers will have to pay if they are caught.
LTA hopes that drivers will be more vigilant, as such illegal acts will not only put their lives but others as well in danger. Reviver for all, Fiji One News.
Meanwhile, two cars collided on the Queen's Highway at around 4 this afternoon. These photos were taken by Fiji TV's head of corporate, Nitesh Chand, a little after the incident occurred near the Naviti Resort in Singatoka. One of the cars veered off the road, while the other brushed against an oncoming Sunbeam bus. Still to come, families flocked to Suva's newest park to enjoy last public holiday of the year. And community health worker program revived. Hello again. Cloudy weather in the capital city today did not deter people from leaving their homes to mark Boxing Day in the usual way. Along the Nasese foreshore, tarpaulins, food and volleyball was the order of the day.
The Nasese foreshore was a hype of activity as families came out to enjoy today's public holiday. Despite the cloudy weather, people were determined to enjoy the last public holiday of the year.
But yeah, I really like this place. It's sunny, but yeah, it's still cool at the moment. Loving the weather, enjoying it. Compared to New Zealand, it's pretty cold over there.
We enjoy this Christmas, this Boxing Day, and welcoming the new year.
This means a lot to us because we don't actually gather together that much.
Tarpaulins, barbecue and volleyball were the order of the day. The park was filled with laughter and cheer as people of all ages were out and about.
My kids, they always want to come here, just to come and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, I like the water and I like swimming in it.
The newly developed Monikau foreshore now offers Suva residents an alternative.
Very nice. Everybody, we are very happy to see this place here, nice and clean. So we have to keep it clean always.
With work returning to normal from tomorrow, many were out and about enjoying the holiday. Reviver for all, Fiji One News.
The two decrees drafted by the Maritime Safety Authority of Fiji will come into effect in the first quarter of next year. These are the Ship Registration and Maritime Transport Decree, which have been gazetted following thorough consultations.
Fines and penalties and jail terms that are associated with attempted activities like this are enormously high. Why? As a massive deterrent from any master, owner or operator to ever even consider overloading and putting crew, vessel, cargo and passengers at risk.
SLEC says the heavy penalties outlined in the decrees will act as a deterrent for vessels from overloading and breaking safety regulations.
Going forward, that's minor comparison to those that we've drafted into and now have been gazetted with a commencement date on the 5th of March next year.
Recent findings by the Health Ministry reveals that people are developing diabetes at a much younger age. Authorities have also revealed that many of those who are diabetic do not know that they have this non-communicable disease.
80% of deaths in the country are related to non-communicable diseases, and diabetes is a leading cause of NCDs. A latest finding about diabetes poorly controlled by people has even got the medical professionals worried.
So we have to sensitize our medical system, the health delivery system, how we can improve delivery, and at the same time we need the public support, because this is not only Ministry of Health, it is a public issue and it needs to be addressed.
The findings also reveal that only 10% of diabetics take good care of themselves. while the remaining 90% are either unaware or do not get treated properly.
In general principles, the matrix has been set so that we would be in a better position to be able to address or control and stall the progression of diabetes. It will take several decades before we can reverse it, but we can control it, we can stall it.
However, Dr. Sharma says the ministry has not left any stones unturned in addressing this issue.
As of this year, we have started open heart surgery along with our visiting teams from abroad. This year, very few patients have gone abroad for open heart surgery. All of it has been undertaken in Fiji, in Suva, with the support of the Sahedri team. We have the Australian team and the New Zealand team coming in to do the balance.
Halitesh Dutt, Fiji One News.
The Health Ministry has revived its community health worker program in the hope of increasing services provided in the rural and maritime areas. Under this program, the ministry trains members of a community who then educate others on basic health care habits.
The Community Health Worker Program incorporates basic health standards at the village and settlement level. The Health Ministry is forking out $100,000 for this initiative, which has started in the last quarter of the year.
We bring them in for basic training, and then after basic training they are equipped with a module and a logbook whereby they undertake certain health modification behavior in their settlements and villages.
The program is an extension of primary health care into rural areas, with close to 300 people in the Northern Division now trained.
As of the last quarter of this year, they will receive an allowance of $40 a month for their work. It is very essential that workers are paid an allowance in close affiliation with the Turangani Koros.
Once trained, the workers form a committee with village elders and chiefs to work on changing health behavior.
Health behavior with regard to water and sanitation, so that villages should ensure that their water is safe and to undertake whatever measures they need with the various government agencies. Ensure that the environment is clean and not breeding mosquitoes and flies, so that reduces the risk of communicable diseases, and that regularly we look after the health of the vulnerable in the village and community, such as pregnant mothers.
The ministry has sought the assistance of Australian government and Fiji health sector reforms to conduct training. Halitesh Dutt, Fiji One News.
Complaints against medical and dental practitioners will now be handled more efficiently. The Fiji Medical and Dental Council has confirmed the establishment of a tribunal will effectively deal with allegations.
All complaints against any medical or dental practitioner were previously dealt with the Professional Conducts Committee. The committee from next year will only deal with minor cases, with more serious allegations referred to the tribunal.
We have sort of trying to get the nuts and bolts together of the tribunal, because the tribunal is such that the tribunal actually sets its own rules and its own procedure. So it's going to be the next, come 2014, it would be the first time in the history of Fiji that such a tribunal would be established.
The rules and procedures that the tribunal will have to follow will be regulated soon.
For each particular case, we have to go back to the Chief Justice to establish a tribunal for the particular case. So we have got at least 2 cases in the pipeline, and for one of the particular cases, we will definitely see something in the first quarter of the 2014.
Prasad says this will give the council as well as the practitioner concerned equal representation on the case.
End of December 2012, the case of the 6-sheet issue, where it was thought best that the Professional Conduct Committee deals with it, and it was successfully, case was actually completed by them. Come this year, we have been trying to see where the cases lie with. So if cases are not of very serious nature, the Professional Conduct Committee deals with it and makes a judgment.
Currently, there is no such tribunal in place. Halitesh Dutt, Fiji One News.
The salary increment of civil servants from next year will cost government more than $90 million. The Public Service Commission hopes that this incentive by the government will be able to attract competent personnel for jobs in the public service.
2014 will certainly be a much anticipated year for some 30,000 civil servants. The approved pay rise applicable to all civil servants ranging from salaried workers to government wage earners.
Particularly for the lower level or lower rank officers in lower grades, and of course as you go higher in the grades it is lesser percentage, but that is meant to bring largely those in the lower ranks to at least threshold income.
Chan says this is an effort to match what the private sector offers employees.
We are focusing a lot on rewarding civil servants based on performance, and of course the performance of public servants has been improving as we have gone, and we're very pleased with this allocation.
The adjustment of salaries, however, is not applicable to those under the Judges Remuneration and Emoluments Act and the Prescription of Salaries Act.
It is meant for 2014. Any announcement in the 2014 budget takes effect from beginning of January or beginning of the calendar year, which starts from 1st January and finishes off on 31st December. So really the provisioning is for next year's budget.
The increase comes into effect from 1st of January and will not be backdated. Halitesh Tat, Fiji One News.
We will be back with our Pacific News segment after the break. Stay with us. Australia has withdrawn funding for a $38 million program that supplies medicine to Papua New Guinean health centres due to concerns about the way PNG has awarded contracts. Previously, Australia's aid agency chose the supplier and distributor for the medicines, but this year the process was handled by PNG. In June, the PNG government removed a crucial quality control criteria and later awarded the contract to a local company linked to a Chinese supplier of sub-quality drugs. Doctors say the distribution of ineffective medicine in the country, rife with TB, malaria, pneumonia and gastro, will cost lives. 3 years ago, a corruption scandal within Papua New Guinea's health system left hospitals running out of drugs and prompted the PNG government to ask for Australia's help in stocking health centres. For 2 years, the International Dispensary Association supplied medical kits to almost 3,000 health facilities across the country. Dr. Glenn Moeller, Treasurer of the Medical Society of PNG, has told Radio Australia's Pacific Beat the IDA did a good job getting the medicine to health clinics in remote parts of PNG. Now remember, you can view tonight's Fiji One News Bulletin on our website. That's at www.fijione.tv. You can also watch previous news bulletins as well as our current affairs, business and sports shows. And Drew is back with sports. And Flying Fijian playmaker goes to studies.
Yes, Vili Waisea Luveniali is trading in his boots for his books. That's coming up. Also in sport, Colin Isao reveals Ben Ryan's tough sevens plans. And Taniela Wanga to rejoin Hekari United.